Welcome to Keep What You Earn, your judgment and jargon-free zone for entrepreneurs of all levels. Get ready to learn how to scale your business, save money in taxes, and create a business that grows your wealth. If it feels like the financial side of business is like eating your vegetables, well, then think of this podcast as the ranch dressing to make the process a little more enjoyable. My name is Shannon Weinstein. I'm a CPA and business owner on a mission to simplify money and empower others through knowledge. I hope this episode inspires you to take action, but remember that the information we share is for educational purposes only and is not individual tax advice. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start the show. As a business owner, we're always chasing growth. We're always chasing that next thing. It feels like no matter what we do, we're always hungry for that next level. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But sometimes we even feel like we're starting to plateau when it comes to our income. Like we can't break free from a certain level, and we're not sure how to unlock that next step. This makes us feel stuck and a bit uncomfortable, maybe even stresses us out. And for that reason, I wanted to frame an entire episode around the questions that you can ask yourself and sort of self-coach on why you're experiencing these types of limitations. When we encounter these limitations, I want you to understand that a lot of it is self-imposed, but it's not your fault, because a lot of the times we're so blinded, or really we have our blinders on, and we're so focused on moving our business forward that we're not looking around at our surroundings to realize what else is happening. And sometimes it takes a fresh perspective introduced, a fresh set of eyes to really see what's going on in your business. And that is why, a lot of us are hiring coaches and consultants and other folks to come in and give us a fresh perspective. And there's 100% nothing wrong with that. In fact, I'm one of them. So I really appreciate the value that we bring and other professionals bring to the table to give you some perspective in your business. And I'm going to actually share with you a lot of the questions that I ask my business owner clients. And I also try to answer when I'm preparing for our CFO calls. And if someone that I'm working with is struggling with revenue or feeling like, hey, I can't quite figure out how I'm going to unlock that $500,000 revenue, that $1 million revenue, or even beyond, right? Multi-million. We want to unlock, 100K months, 500K months. How do we do that? I'm going to go through a few of the, albeit simple questions that can help you unlock that for yourself. So there are really three areas where I see limitations, self-imposed limitations for business owners. The first one, are you limiting your own capacity? Are you limiting your own capacity? And by capacity, I mean your ability to produce. Typically, you think about like manufacturing, right? Like how much can you actually produce? How big is your shop? How big is your warehouse? What is your capacity? And what I'm talking about when it comes to services, specifically online services, is your time. Now, are you limiting your own ability to produce because you're limited by time? So what I mean is, are you selling services that rely on you spending your time? Or are you crafting offers that can be sold and delivered without you lifting a finger? That is a huge factor in whether you can actually grow and scale, because you cannot clone yourself, at least not yet. It's 2022, maybe. Maybe you can reproduce yourself in the metaverse and run another business, right? But until then, we are limited by our own capacity. We're limited by the sun and the moon and the days of the year. So until then, we have to figure out a way to maximize our capacity. And one way is to offer something, and I've talked about this in several episodes, is offering something that doesn't rely on your time. And that could be just a recurring revenue source, an online course, a membership, something, right? Where you're spending the same amount of time, but multiplying the impact. And, or front loading a lot of the time you're spending and then going out and selling something. Of course, there's the traditional passive income, which is, rental income, royalties, and so on, and investments, which also is a great way to build wealth. Don't get me wrong, but within the four walls of your business, are you crafting offers that facilitate this type of income. And there, you should always have a foundation, by the way, of recurring revenue in your business. I believe that something should be essentially keeping the lights on so that even if the other thing that you're selling doesn't do well in a given month, it's not detrimental, that you don't have to operate from a place of scarcity. So that is one area, right? Limiting your own capacity. And another way we do this is doing too much ourselves. You're limiting your own capacity. Now, again, I said you can't clone yourself, but you can hire someone, and you can hire a damn good person to do what you need to do. So if you find yourself, acting as the bookkeeper, the lawyer, the marketer, the photographer, the social media manager, and the client service director, and the operations director, and the CEO, then you're wearing too many hats. And if you're trying to grow and scale a business, I think that one of the first things you should do is hire someone to cover your blind spots, but also cover the areas that are consuming the most amount of your time. And if you can put yourself through a time audit for even a week or a few days to examine where you're spending the most of your time and how you could better leverage that time for revenue producing activities, then you may unlock some new potential in your capacity. So a lot of the times that we fill our capacity with things like playing around on Canva or creating content or, doing something that isn't directly revenue producing, even though it's moving the needle in some area, it's something you could theoretically outsource. And if someone else can do it 70, 80% as good as you can, outsource it. It's worth it because it will open you up to be able to do more for your business and to move it forward. Otherwise, you're going to stagnate. You're going to be in the same cycle, doing the same things week after week after week, and you're not going to be expanding your own skill set, your own abilities, or your own time. So those are my recommendations in expanding your capacity. So are you limiting yourself in capacity right now? Is that why you may be limiting your income? The other thing is, number 2, are you limiting your profitability? And what I mean by that is, are you A, charging enough, and B, spending intentionally? Are you charging enough for your services? And that's not to say that you should increase your prices blindly, right? I'm just saying don't discount yourself when it comes to a high touch, high value service where your time is insanely valuable. What I've learned as a business owner in the last year or so is that I only have enough hours in the day to serve clients in a certain capacity, right? I have really X number of client service hours in a week that I can really deliver good value, whether that be because I'm at optimal brain performance and I'm kind of like, I have high energy and that's when I can serve, or whether it's, just there's only so many hours in the day. I've got to record the podcast. I've got to do my client work. I've got to support my team, right? I have other meetings. And for the time that I have to support my clients, I want to make sure I'm getting the most value for them, but also making sure that because that part of what I do is dependent on my time, I got to be making sure that I am making a profit on that time and that I'm earning enough income to justify the number of clients that I have. So for example, with my business, right, my CFO service, I only have a total across my CFO service and tax strategy business. I'm just going to be real. I only have 14 clients right now. 14. And you know what that means though? I get to think about 3 different clients every day. I can really think of all of them every day because I can name them all because I can count them because there's such a low number that I can manage that. And where I'm going with this is I charge a fee that allows me to have 14 clients because they're going to get high touch, white glove service from us. We're always going to be available to respond. You're not going to get lost in the paper stack or shuffle or the workflow. We are here because you are one of the 14. And that's what's really important to me in my client experience. So when it comes to charging enough, we make sure that our price point reflects the value, of course, but also is aligned with my goals as a business owner and our revenue targets. So that has to be considered. You have to also create profitable offers to make sure you're making money. You should be looking at how much does it cost me to deliver this product, service, program, whatever it may be. Are you paying for software? Are you paying for materials? Are you paying for marketing? Are you paying for workbooks and such, right? For your programs? If you are, or even if you're paying for coaches, right? Going back to number one, are you opening your capacity by hiring coaches that work for you as a coach, for example? Well, if you're hiring subcontractors or anyone like that, that's also going to go into your costs. So are you actually profitable on an offer by offer basis? And then the other component that I mentioned is, are you spending money intentionally? And by that, I mean, are you actually taking advantage of impulsive spending as it comes your way, where you say yes to things that you didn't know you were going to buy yesterday, right? Something crosses your desk, you see something on Instagram, an email comes through and you're like, yes, I want to buy that. Now, I'm guilty of this 100%, but what you have to do is look at your spending, look at what direction your money is going in, and really make sure that aligns with your priorities. So I set an intention every quarter, roughly, with my expenses. And I say, okay, Shan, this month we're going to focus, or this quarter we're going to focus on operations. So if it does not serve the operations target, if it does not serve the operations goal, then it can wait. If you want to invest in marketing, it can wait. We really need to focus on anything that comes across your desk that's quote unquote impulsive, because Lord knows I'm spending money on marketing. I'm spending money on all these things. But if I want to pour extra, if I want to use the excess money I have, the profits I have in my business that are not part of my routine monthly expenses, I want them directed at a certain target. I want to be chasing one thing. And in differently given seasons, I have marketing, I have operations, I have people. I really kind of set an intention of, this is my goal for the quarter, and I'm going to point my money toward that goal. And if you're not doing that, and I'm not saying you have to, but if you're not doing that, then it could be a little bit frantic at times as a business owner, the way you're spending your money, because next thing you know, oh, shoot, I don't have a whole lot of money left. And this other opportunity came along, but I spent my money on X over here and I can't afford Y, and a tax bill, as you know. So what's really important is to be spending with that intention of, is this moving you toward your goal, away from your goal, or could this be used more wisely? And again, I'm not talking about spending less money. I'm talking about spending with intention. So we've talked about limiting your capacity. We've talked about limiting your profitability. And now I want to talk about limiting your marketability. Are you curating too many offers? Are you spreading yourself too thin? Trying to cook the menu of the Cheesecake Factory because you're not sure what people want to order. I used this analogy and someone else used this analogy before, but I'm going to use it again. If you run an Italian restaurant, okay, if you run an Italian restaurant, you know what's on that menu. You've been to an Olive Garden. You know what I'm talking about. And someone comes in and they say, I want a taco. I hope with every fiber of my being that you would say, we don't have tacos here. This is a Maggiano's. This is an Olive Garden. What are you, crazy? A lot of you out there, though, are saying, you know what? I can go down the street and get a tortilla for you. I can go, we got chicken. I bet I can figure out a spice combination that'll make that. Oh, we do have cheese. We do have cheese. Oh, we could do that for you. Give me 10 minutes. We can go do that for you. And what do? You pack your stuff. You run down to the grocery store. You go get itemized things for this one person. And you've left all of your tables that you were waiting on to wait. That's what a lot of you are doing right now. When someone comes across your DMs, when someone, finds your website and they say, hey, I really want this. Do you really offer that? And I'm not saying, can you? I know you can. We're all capable of a lot of things, but should you and do you? Is that really on your menu? I always say, don't be the Cheesecake Factory. If you want to have an elite or prestigious brand, which I know many of you do, if you really do, go to any fancy restaurant. The menu can fit on a freaking index card. It's like 4 things. It's like the chicken, beef, fish, vegetarian. There is not a ton of combinations to be found here. And there's really 1 or 2 desserts, right? But I'll tell you what, you'll go back to that place over and over again. You'll pay a premium to sit there and eat that food. And the chefs in the back have to cook one of 4 things for you. And everyone's happy. No one's complaining. And I'm not saying again that you have to be that restaurant. You have to serve only these things. But when you're starting out, one of the biggest mistakes I see and why you feel stuck at your income level is you might be trying to cook too many different dishes. And as a result, you don't have a single recipe written down that you've delivered consistently. So then as a result, you bring a team member on and they're like, what the hell? So this person gets this offer and then this person gets this offer and then this person has a special thing here and a special thing there. And trust me, I know because this was me. This was me. When Courtney came onto my team, she looked at me like I was crazy because she's like, wait, what do you mean this person gets this person doesn't, this person does, this person doesn't? I cannot keep track of this. And it made me realize that I was trying to do too many things. And we have since slimmed down the offerings significantly. But that was such a sigh of relief. Let me tell you, your shoulders will just drop in relief, because if you only have to deliver on these 2 or 3 core offers and you can refine them and perfect them, you'll be unstoppable. And unlocking that next, it's going to sound funny, but it's addition by subtraction, guys. You're going to unlock a whole new revenue level by reducing the amount of things you're spending your time on and spreading yourself too thin. So when we talk about marketability, I'm also talking about not confusing your customer base. Give them 3 options: small, medium, large. It's really simple. Give them 3 different options of how they can work with you, one-on-one, group, and DIY type of service, and you're done. And really craft those offers so that, yes, you can spin off more offers in the future, but let's perfect what we have and then tweak it, right? Always be improving it. But I think that we don't spend enough time really honing that in. So that's one thing, is marketability. Are you also adapting to changing markets, right? Are people still demanding what it is you're putting out there? Or can you adapt to what the market demands? Are you keeping a pulse with your customer base online or in person, however you run your business? But are you keeping a pulse with your customer base? And are you limiting your marketability by sticking with what worked 3 years ago and thinking you can lather, rinse, repeat forever? Because you can't. You can't. You can't lather, rinse, repeat the exact same offer, the exact same launch, the exact same anything for, I don't know how long, but even months can go by, guys, and the paradigm shifts. So you really have to have a pulse on what's going on and be willing to adapt. The other thing that I see people miss out on when they're trying to grow their income level is they are walking over dollars to pick up pennies. And by that, I mean, one of the biggest ways this happens in the online space is you are not upselling or offering extension options when it comes to your coaching, when it comes to online services, anything. So what you always want to have handy is either an upgrade option or an extension. And by that, I mean, let's say you're hosting a group coaching program and people graduate from that program. They always want to know, how can I continue working with you? If they had a good experience, what is the next phase in the customer life cycle that you want them entering into? And a lot of people say, I don't know. They just, they graduate, they move on. Hopefully I get a testimonial and that's that. And we're missing out on a massive opportunity there, because you can put them into a community. You can put them into some type of container. You could offer to do, text message only or Voxer or whatever type of support for them on an ongoing basis and charge a nominal fee every single month. Small as it may be, you could then funnel all of your graduates for your program into that community. Next thing you know, that is growing and providing you a good source of recurring revenue. So think about that. Are you missing out on upsell opportunities or extensions? And are you really limiting your marketability in that sense? That are you in touch with what your customer is really asking for? Or are you trying to lather, rinse, repeat what worked a long time ago and hoping that it works again? So again, Are we limiting our capacity? Are we limiting our profitability? And are we limiting our marketability? Those are really the questions that I tend to ask my clients and myself. And I try to examine for my clients when we're looking at their CFO numbers. So, and again, CFO is about more than just the financials. These are the types of things we talk about, right? Like how are we pricing things? How are we crafting and curating offers? How are we blending a mix of recurring revenue and time spent so that we're not burning you out? These are the types of strategies we like to talk about. And believe it or not, sometimes when we feel like we're locked out of our next level, we're actually holding the key right in our own hands, but we can't see it. So I hope you ask yourself these questions honestly, and you can examine as objectively as possible whether these represent blind spots in your business that could be holding you back from your next level growth. I hope you found this helpful. If you can, please share your biggest takeaway with me on Instagram. I'm at Shannon K. Weinstein. And also, please continue the conversation in our community. Let us know what other questions you might have for yourself or that might unlock your growth. I would love to hear a story of how you were able to do this, or even questions on what you're encountering as you are challenged with it. So hit me up at Shannon K. Weinstein on Instagram, and I will see you in the next episode. Are you an accounting or tax professional trying to grow your firm and wondering how to not only offer high-ticket services, but get clients to line up to buy from you? Learn how to let go of the draining clients and deliver massive value for the clients you want to serve. It is not about more accounting and tax courses. It's about showing up as a leader for your clients. The best way to learn how to do that is to see how other leaders in the industry are showing up and seeing what's possible. If you want to get in the room with me and hundreds of other fractional CFOs and learn from folks who not only achieve the results, but live and breathe what they teach, I would love to invite you to the CFO Accelerator Live hosted by Michael King. This will be May 16th through 18th in Dallas, Texas. Michael built his own 7-figure fractional CFO firm and hosts the CFO Report podcast. He and his team of trainers and mentors will help guide you through their 7-step framework to building your dream firm. Click on the link in the show notes and score a special discount exclusively for Keep What You Earn listeners. Grab your spot now before they sell out. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review on your podcast platform. This small action goes a long way for podcasters to get our message heard by more business owners just like you. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to information about our guests and ways to get in touch with me. We'll see you on the next episode.